What does a happy life actually look like? It's this huge question, right? But sometimes the best way to get a handle on it is to zoom way in on a single moment in time. So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to break down what a well-lived life looked like for one man in one specific year, 1983. Let's see what we can learn from his story.
This quote, this is pretty much our North Star for this whole explainer. It describes this kind of balance that honestly can feel almost impossible to find today, a rhythm that so many of us are chasing. We're going to break down exactly how these four pillars came together for one person.
All right, so let's set the scene. Picture it. The year is 1983. It's October, and a guy named Randy is celebrating his 40th birthday in his home down in Chula Vista, California. He's right at the midpoint of his life, and somehow he's found this really remarkable equilibrium.
So the first pillar, and you could argue the most important one, of this balanced life was his family and the super tight-knit community right outside his front door. We're not just talking about a house. This place was the center of a whole vibrant world.
I mean, this just paints such a vivid picture, doesn't it? You can almost hear the buzz of life on their street, Via Trieste. He's got two young daughters, Lori and Tommy, filling the house with all that energy. The cul-de-sac itself is basically an impromptu community center. Bikes, kickball, the works. And right at the heart of it all is Randy's wife, Linda, the one orchestrating this whole beautiful, complex family life.
Okay, so let's move on to the second pillar and see how this all connects. Let's talk about Randy's professional life. Because for him, his career wasn't just a job. It was his connection to the wider world and a place where he had some serious expertise.
What's so interesting about his work is this kind of two-sided coin. On one hand, he's deeply rooted at Rohr Industries. He's been there 16 years, he's managing a team, he's a total expert in this super specific field. But then you look at the other side, this global collaboration. His work is taking him to England, he's partnering with giants like Rolls-Royce. It's this amazing blend of local stability and international engagement.
And this little anecdote just says it all. It shows that his work life wasn't just technical designs and meetings. It was also about human connection and adventure. I mean, taking a hot air balloon ride over the English countryside, that's a perfect little memory that shows a life fully lived, even on a business trip.
Okay, so we've seen family and work. The third pillar is all about how Randy was woven into the fabric of his broader community. This is really where the richness of his life expands beyond just those first two areas.
Just look at all the different hats he wore. He's not just showing up at church, he's an elder. He and Linda aren't just a couple, they're active in a ministry helping other couples. He's a dedicated sports fan, which is just classic San Diego. And then there's this very specific hobby, which even gets him to write articles for newsletters. The point is, he's a participant in his life, not just a spectator.
And about that hobby, after the kids were in bed and the day was finally done, Randy had this personal pursuit that was all his own. It was his way to unwind and connect with a totally different kind of community.
So for anyone wondering, what in the world is DXing? It's this totally fascinating hobby of pulling in distant radio signals. Just imagine, it's late at night in Chula Vista, you're turning a dial and suddenly you hear a broadcast from some tiny station hundreds, maybe thousands of miles away. It's like a form of exploration, a quiet adventure from your own home.
Now look, no year, no matter how balanced it seems, is without its peaks and valleys. And 1983 for Randy was absolutely a year of profound contrasts, a year that held both incredible joy and really deep sorrow.
The absolute high point was this epic family road trip in their brand new Oldsmobile. I mean, look at this itinerary. It's a massive journey, a grand tour of the American West. They're out there camping, visiting family, and seeing some of the most iconic landscapes on the entire continent.
This trip was really the peak of the year's joy. It was a love letter to the American West, all about making memories, strengthening family bonds, and just soaking in the beauty of the world. It's the kind of experience that, defines a family's story for decades to come.
And then the pendulum swings. Just a few months before that incredible trip, the year delivered its lowest point. The loss of his father was a huge blow, a tough reminder that even in the happiest of times, life includes grief.
But what's so powerful is how he responded to this adversity. Faced with all that stress and grief, he didn't retreat. Instead, he made a very conscious decision to invest in his own well-being by starting a new exercise program. It was such a proactive step toward resilience. In this number, this represents the tangible result of that commitment.
But it's not just about weight loss. It's a symbol of taking control, of channeling a really difficult experience into a positive outcome. It's a quiet victory in a very tough year.
So, after all of this, the family, the job, the community, the epic highs and the devastating lows, what does it all add up to? How did Randy himself define it all?
The answer, in his own words, was so simple and yet so profound. He was happy. And look at how he defines that happiness. It's not one single feeling, but it's the sum of all his different roles. Every single one contributed to the whole.
And that's really the core takeaway here. The goodness of his life wasn't about some perfect, problem-free existence. No, it was about the rich, balanced combination of all these different parts. The whole was truly, truly greater than the sum of its pieces.
So as we close out this little snapshot from 1983, it leaves us with a question. Looking at all the different facets of Randy's life, his family, his work, his community, his personal pursuits, it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the pillars that hold up your own good life?